Hey Harmonizers, here's a look at Ginny doing some more training progress. You can see that her canter work is going really well. And here I'm going to write across the diagonals just to kind of see if she has any natural lead change in her. I'm not really asking for the lead change, just trying to canter and do a turn across the diagonal to see if she has any inkling to want to switch on her own. And she does actually do her front legs, but doesn't do her hind legs, which is okay. That's kind of showing she understands that she probably should change leads, but maybe doesn't feel balanced or fit enough to do the change. And then here, going to attempt to the right, just asking her to canter and turn and just see if she'll do that change on her own. Here, asking her to go a little faster, because sometimes if the horses are going fast enough, they'll just kind of pop that lead on their own. And I always like to do this first before trying to teach flying lead changes, just to see if the horse has a natural change and if they'll just kind of do it on their own, because you never want to make it a bigger deal than you have to. So I just finished by correcting her onto the correct lead, and no big deal there. So now we're going to take a look at some of her jumping work, and she's doing really well. And so here you can see she was a little confused. She was like, oh, okay, we're jumping, but she's picking up the canter pretty nicely, and we're doing more cantering of jumps. And here's that coming into another jump that she was like, oh, are we jumping that on the diagonal, and breaks to a trot. But what I love about her is she doesn't do anything bad or scary. We definitely have our awkward moments, but as she figures out what we're going to do here, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're jumping this, and we'll get into those canter jumps again. And as we're teaching the horse how to jump and be comfortable jumping with a rider on their back, we ideally want to maintain the same pace as we come up to the fence and just stay out of that horse's way. Just focus on straightness and just keeping a consistent pace. So it doesn't matter that she knocked the jump there. What matters is that she tried, and she's learning how to figure out those canter strides. And she's actually doing really well. You're going to see some really cool progress as we go through this video a little bit more. So here we're going to come around. I still do lots of trotting jumps with her. And so this is trotting into a little line. This is her first time doing a big line, and you can see it's set for one stride, canter one strides. And the nice thing about that is it really helps the horse figure out what a stride looks and feels like heading into the jump. And they're all little baby jumps. They're not too overwhelming for her at all. And I love using grid work to help horses learn proper spacing to jumps. It just really lets them figure out their feet. So she comes in, and you can see that's one stride up, one stride up. And so that's looking really nice, and she's learning how to pick up her feet with that. And she's going really smoothly and willingly over that, which is nice. So you can see she's going to earn a cookie there for doing a really good job. And as they're learning, sometimes it doesn't always go so beautifully. So here you're going to get to see what do we do when it's not going super beautiful. So here I come over the first jump, and she's like, oh, goes around. And so I just focus on getting her straight, go right back to it. There's no crop, there's no whip, there's no spurs. It's just like, hey, like we got to stay straight, not make a big deal out of it, because it can feel overwhelming to learn different things. And even though she did it really nicely going to the left, for whatever reason, she felt like it was too much going in this particular direction. And so the same thing kind of happens again. She's like, oh, I don't know that I want to do the whole line. Maybe she doesn't feel like she's got her feet correct or something like that. So we just, whatever, we go around, do it again. It's not the end of the world. I just steer her back into the line. And so this time, as we come around for the third time, I'm going to really try to make sure I have my right rein ready to guide her straight. And I'm aiming a little bit more to the right, which you can probably see. And now she feels comfortable to go through, and she does it absolutely beautifully and perfectly. So we just ride around the corner to make sure that she doesn't stop at the gate. And then I give her the biggest reward is I say, great, we're going to hop off, give you a cookie, and you're done for the night. And that's a great way to show the horse that if they just try and do their best, that good things are going to happen. So this is now a different session. You can see now that Ginny is clipped, because she gets very sweaty really quickly. And so now she is clipped. She was a really good girl for being clipped. And this is one of my last jumping sessions with her before trying her first lesson with a student, which is super exciting. And so the trotting fences, I feel like, is going really well. She's confident going over those jumps. You can see that goes really easily for her. Cantering the jumps, sometimes she gets funny spots, but you can see she's going into those really confidently now. So I feel like she's ready for somebody to try her that maybe isn't as confident. Here, we lost our speed on the turn because the turn didn't go as smoothly, and so that's why she broke stride. And so I'm like, okay, well, we'll just give that another little go there. She's funny because she's a forward horse. Like once you get her going, she's relatively forward, but she's definitely still a little bit slow and sticky in those transitions sometimes. And here she was feeling a little bit tired. So I'm having to really kind of move her on, but you can see the cantering the jumps is going pretty nicely. The strides are going pretty well. She's going to get a little break there and a little cookie for doing those jumps really nicely. And then I decided to try some scarier jumps. This was her first time being asked to jump the little hedge, which is a little bit overwhelming. And so we just walk over it. So I just maintain a you can do it attitude. Again, you don't want to punish the horse or add anxiety into the mix. So I'm not going to, get after her really hard or anything like that. There's no need for that. I don't want to start her thinking that, oh no, like I gotta be anxious about this. Just yet, we're coming into the jump and she's like, oh, slow down. And I'm just like, hey, we can do it. Little bump with my leg, but nothing crazy. I don't have spurs on or anything like that. So I want to be encouraging, but not scary. And that can be a really hard line for people to figure out, is how can you kind of stay motivating the horse, but don't be super intimidating. And so you just do that, and then look at that, beautifully comes in and canters the hedge, no big deal. So I'm super excited for her. I hope you guys have enjoyed following her journey, and we'll see what's next.